and welcome to BIMS TV. My name is Carlee Jackson and this is BIMS Bites. And today I'll be taking a bite out of nurse sharks. First, what are sharks? Sharks are in a group of fish called elasmobrays, and this includes both sharks and rays. They're different from bony fish because they have multiple gill slits, a skeleton made out of cartilage, so the same stuff our ears and our nose is made out of, and special electrosensory organs. Today, I'll be focusing on a really fun species of shark called the nurse shark, which are pretty underrated in the shark world, and I'll explain why in a little bit. Their scientific name is Gynglymostoma serratum, and they're a little less sharky looking than your typical shark. They have a very long, sleek, and flexible body. I'll be going into a little bit of background on nurse sharks and some of the cool quirks that they have as well. Nurse sharks are found in tropical and subtropical Atlantic waters. They are coastal sharks living in warm, shallow waters not too far from shore. They get their underrated reputation because of how common it is to see them in these tropical habitats. They're everywhere in Florida and definitely everywhere in the Caribbean waters as well. Nurse sharks inhabit a variety of coastal habitats. You can find them on the sandy bottom, in seagrass beds, and in coral reefs. Coral reefs are their primary habitats where they usually reside and hunt for their food. Nurse sharks are benthic sharks, which means they live on the seafloor. They're also nocturnal, which means that they sleep during the day and are more active and hunt at night. And if you ever are snorkeling or diving in Florida or the Caribbean during the day, most likely you're going to see a nurse shark sleeping under a big rock or a big coral head. And they get this reputation of being very lazy and very lax around divers and snorkelers. They're also social animals. They're often found in groups. They usually sleep in groups or sometimes travel in groups. And this is thought to ward off any predators that are bigger than them. Since nurse sharks are benthic sharks, they're built a little differently than other sharks who live out in the open ocean. So they have very special adaptations to living on the seafloor. This first adaptation is having a very flat head with their mouth underneath. This makes it so that they can get their food a lot easier because their favorite food is shellfish like lobsters or conch or crabs. And those are usually on the seafloor, and it really helps having their mouth at the bottom of their head to easily eat their favorite prey. Another adaptation is that they have barbels on the front of their face, and they look like little whiskers coming out of the front of their nose. These barbels help them feel food under the sand. So it's just like a little extension of their other sensory organs and really just helps them feel what's under the sand and helps them find their food a lot better. They also have very thick and tough skin, which is called dermal denticles, that helps protect them from sharp rocks or corals that they like to sleep under. One of my favorite nurse shark adaptations is called buccal pumping. This allows nurse sharks to use their cheek muscles to pull water in through their mouth and over their gills. I'm sure you've heard that sharks have to keep swimming in order to breathe. Well, that's not true for the nurse shark. Nurse sharks are able to breathe even when they're staying still because of this adaptation of buccal pumping. This also helps in feeding. So their favorite food, which is shellfish, sometimes it can be stuck in really tight corners, but the buccal pumping is so strong, it's like a vacuum, and it can suck that prey out of those tight corners so they can crush it with their strong jaws and eat everything inside. This adaptation also works in very shallow water. So nurse sharks are commonly fed in shallow water for tourism purposes, and these nurse sharks pictured were being fed on a stair. Because they have buccal pumping and can just suck the water in through their mouth and pass it through their gills, they're perfectly fine with feeding in very shallow water. Thank you for watching and taking a bite out of nurse sharks with me, and feel free to contact me with any questions on nurse sharks or any other sharks in general. You can email me or you can hit me up on any of my social media platforms. Thank you so much for tuning in, and be sure to follow, like, and subscribe Black in Marine Science across all of their platforms. Thank you.